Hey, what's up, it's mikeyperion here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft 1.13. And for today's episode, we are going to work in the Nether, and I have changed of plans there because we know that I already have started the SMP game in Taskcraft, so I will redistribute one of our project in the Nether. So first thing, for this episode, we are going to build the Wither Skelly farm. It's a really big project, and I know this may take time to make this episode. And of course, second thing, we are going to cancel building the Blaze farm because there's no need of it here. So let's go. Of course, we are not going to work here in the overworld, so let's jump into the Nether. So like I said, we have our SMP game now, and of course we are going to start from scratch again, and then most of the farms that we have built here in the city is also going to be built in the Taskcraft. Of course, better match, for example, for the Blaze farm, instead of building it here, we are going to build it there because we don't need another XP farm here, and we don't no longer need that much blaze rods. So I just decided to reserve that project in the Taskcraft. So now we're here in the Nether, so we are going to build the Wither farm in this location right over here. So the only project that we are going to build here in the Nether is this Wither Skelly farm. Well, telling you guys, this is a no joke project. It's going to be a huge farm, and it's quite complicated and will require a lot of resources. So like I said, maybe for this area we are not going to utilize this because originally I have some plans right over here to make it look like a ruined city. And of course, yes, so well, this is going to be a much simpler compared to what we have planned previously. So well, but you just need to slabify all of these floorings all over the area, so we can prevent some of the mobs to spawn outside our Wither Skelly farm. So basically this one, the Blaze farm, we are going to cancel this. Well, yes, well, this is actually a pretty good location for our Blaze farm, especially that we have most of our farms close together. So yes, well, we'll just build that in Taskcraft. I hope you can also find a good location for our Blaze farm there, right? So yeah, so well, I think that's those are the stuff that I need to discuss before we start this episode. So yes, well, and without further ado, let's start building the Wither Skelly farm. Of course, one of the hazards in making a project here in the Nether are these hostile mobs, especially this gas. Ouch. Well, that's why I rarely make projects here in the Nether because of this guys, to be honest, and it's really dangerous. Although it's quite a challenge though, but well, yeah, sometimes, most of the times they interrupt me from making builds. Let's grab these XPs. Of course, we also need this to somehow mend our tools, probably. But anyways, so I already have done some layouting here in this area. As you can see, this farm is going to be really massive. I'm starting to make these flooring, so at least we can already have marked the layout. Now we are done with the flooring. As you can see, the size of this farm is really massive, right? We are going to build 5 levels of spawning platform of 20 by 40, and we are also going to use flying machines to push all of those hostile mobs into our killing chamber. So basically, the killing chamber will be on this side right over here. Well, we are going to kill the pigments through suffocation, so they will be not triggered and retain only those Wither Skellies, so we can kill them with our looting tree sword. Well, that's how it works. So let's start building this. So now we have built one of the flying machines right over here. So this is a 20 block wide flying machine. So this will go back and forth in order to push the mobs from our spawning platform. So let's test this out. So first it will go to the other side and we'll push all of those mobs in our spawning platform in our killing chamber right over here. So these flying machines will go back and forth a couple of times so we can gather more Wither Skelly, and we use slime blocks and glass on both ends so it will not stick out to the wall that we are going to build in order to contain the spawning platform. So let's check this out. So these flying machines should go back once it reaches the terminal, and there you go. So well, pretty much that's how it works. So once it reaches the other terminal as well, so as long as this machine is on, it will just continuously go back and forth, and if we'll turn this off, it will just stay on the side right over there. And this Enderman, stay away from me, stay away from me. Actually, I kept on avoiding these Enderman since I started this building. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, this is actually the problem in making build here in the nether. So yeah, so let's grab some food first because our health is well, there you go. So he's dead now. But anyways, so as you can see, that flying machine just went back to the terminal. So let's try to turn this off. Well, actually, this is something like it's the other way around. So if the lever is on, it will actually be turned off. But if the lever is off, it will actually continuously, go back and forth. So let's check this out. So this flying machine should stay here once it reaches on this terminal right over here. And there's a wither skeleton. Don't destroy my redstone contraption. Oh my god. At least it didn't damage the flying machine though. But let's kill this gas first. Ouch. Oh my god. And he's dead finally. Oh my god. This is a really big problem though. But yeah, so as you can see, that flying machine just stayed on the terminal right over there. So basically, we have turned this off. So basically, we also need to build 5 of these, and let's do it. So now we have done 4 of these terminal and flying machines on this side right over here. So the last, this is going to be the last level. So just to show you guys, I will build one more showing to you guys. So basically, let's put a block right over here and a torch on this side right over here and a repeater facing that way. Set to 4 ticks, and there should also be an obsidian on this part so it will not push through if the flying machine went something wrong, so something like that, just to prevent the the flying machine to go further. And as well as we are going to start to build to put what they call this, like this is actually the tail of the flying machine, so an observer facing that way, and there should also be a slime block on this side right over here, facing on the opposite side of this observer, and a sticky piston facing this direction, and there should also be an observer on this side. This observer is going to be a part of the terminal, not the flying machine. And there should also be a slime block on this side and a sticky piston facing on this direction right over here. So let's place it there. There you go. So basically, this is the components of the flying machine, except for one thing. We also need to put an observer facing the other side, so facing that direction. So basically, this is all of the flying machine composition. And let's remove these temporary blocks. And of course, you're also going to need to put some some slime blocks that will push the mobs on each side. So basically, we also need to do that on all of those other what they call this other flying machines. So let's check it out. So that's how it be built. So yes, as you can see, this is pretty big build, right? I mean, this is just only the one side, so we also need to build the other terminal on this side right over here, and I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to show you basically the terminal on the other side right over here. So yes, well, I'll be back. So now we have to make the terminal right over here. So basically, it's just a part of what we have done on the other side. So let's place a block right on this part, and let's place a torch on this side and a lever. Let's grab the lever and let's put it on this side right over here, and the repeater. But we also need to turn this off, and we also need to place a repeater right over here, set to 4 ticks, facing that direction, and of course an obsidian on the top of the torch, and also an observer. Of course, we have to make temporary blocks because it has to face towards that direction on the side right over there. So yes, so basically this is the terminal. So it's much simpler compared to what we have done on the other side. So basically, it's just one part of the contraption we have done on the other side right over there. So let's test this out. Let's go over there. So basically, I already have connected all of these flying machines into one lever. So basically, I use a torch tower to connect all of these flying machines. So basically, there's a lever on this side, and let's turn it on, and this should work properly as it should be. So basically, I just used torch tower to connect all of these flying machines. As you can see, it's all connected. So this should be, I also have used repeater to have some delay. So basically, on the first level there's no repeater, on the second level there's a repeater on 1 tick, and on the third level it's 2 ticks, and 3 ticks on the fourth level, and 4 ticks on the top level. So as you can see, it's not all together, so at least all of the mobs will have, you know, something like synchronization. But of course there's also gonna be some what they call this, some ghost blocks, but it will just disappear, unlike before. Well, actually Minecraft already have fixed that, those ghost blocks thingy, right? So this should go back, and there you go. So yeah, so basically that's how it works. So let's start this off just to test it out, that it will stop on this side right over here. So basically we are also going to put the lever down below on the ground floor, so at least we can easily access or toggle this flying machine on and off. So yes, so this is basically the spawning platform. So all of those mobs, sorry, not the spawning platform, but the hole for the killing chamber. So basically all of the mobs will fall on this hole right over here, and basically we also need to build the killing chamber on this side after this. So well, it's going to be also 20 block wide killing chamber with pistons that will suffocate all other mobs aside from the Wither Skelly. And yes, this should stop. And there you go. So all of the fly machines just dock in their terminal right over here on this side. So at least we can continue killing the Wither. And well, now it's time to build a killing chamber, and I'll be back. And now we're done with the killing chamber. By its word, this is where we are going to kill the mobs and collect all of their loot. So basically the bottom part right over here is a line of hoppers that will collect all of the drops from the mobs, and the chest right over here to store them. Of course, we also got some pistons behind this wall right over there that will kill 2 block high mobs first and spare the Wither Skelly, so we can kill them with our looting swords. So let's test this out. As you can see, we got a test subject right over here, a pigman. So basically he just died with suffocation by those blocks right over there, which are being pushed by those pistons. And now of course you also need to test this out. There's a bit of a problem because when we turn on these flying machines, well, these sticky pistons, or the pistons behind this, are also triggered. Well, it's quite a mix up with the wirings behind this, but for me I guess it's fine, right? And I also have already placed the furnaces, or what we so called the immovable blocks. So basically I have used furnace in order to prevent the mobs from going through this side right over here. So basically we just need to use immovable blocks just like this furnace. We can also use watermelons and other stuff, but basically I just use furnaces also for that side. And yes, well, I know this is pretty expensive, right? I mean, furnaces are not cheap, to be honest, and we have made actually around more than 400 of these furnaces we have placed for both sides. So basically we also got those furnaces on the other side. Of course, we also need to filter them. So well, yeah, that's a bit of late to turn this off, but to show you guys, of course, the next thing that we need to do is of course to cover up this place, the entire place, and as well as the spawning platform. So basically we are going to build walls on all of the sides of this building. This is going to look like a huge building that some sort of like those stuff. Well, we have built so many buildings, and I was also planning to build like a, what do you call this, pixel art of a Wither Skelly in the middle on this side. So I'm also thinking about that, just to add some more design on this place. Of course, some more challenge and some artistry and some sort of those. But yes, so well, this is going to be a huge build. Still, we still need to do a lot of stuff, but at least for the redstone contraption and the flying machines we're already done. But anyways, so well, I'm going to start doing the walls and the floors, and I'll be back. I actually did the pixel art first because I'm pretty excited to do this, because it's been quite a long time since I've done a pixel art. So I think this looks good, right? I mean, somehow it doesn't match the color, or I mean the brightness or the darkness of an actual Wither Skelly, but I think this is fine. At least the resemblance is there. So now it's time to build more walls on both sides. So basically I'm just putting up some windows, some sort of like maybe pillars, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, we have done this a lot of times in the overworld, so basically this is much gonna be easy peasy. Now we have done the layout for the walls, and of course there's something like a little change of plans. Of course, first we are going to build the walls and the windows, and instead of the floorings we are going to start building the roof and then the floors, because we don't want the mobs to spawn in the spawning platform while we're doing this build. So basically the last thing that we have to place here is going to be the floors. So yes, well, I'm going to build the walls and I'll be back. And now we're done with the walls, the ground floor, and as well as some pillars. Well, this actually reminds me of an actual construction, right? I mean, with those pillars and beams, well, so basically I already have run out of stone, so now it's time to go back to the overworld to run again the stone factory, because we are going to need more of them, right? So anyways, I'll be back. Well, it's the second day of my recording now, and we have done a lot, to be honest. I mean, doing these walls, building these walls are really very complicated, and of course considering the mobs spawning around, and as well as of course the materials that we have consumed for this build, but I think it's worth it. So this is the entrance right over here, and looking on the front side right over here, this looks really impressive, right? I mean, we haven't done the roof yet, so basically somehow it will also change quite a bit. But of course this also kind of reminds me of my university, though. I mean, one of the halls in my university, well, looks like school, right? I mean, school in hell. Anyways, but for me this is quite an accomplishment for me, especially that this is really a massive build. I've done this yesterday for a couple of hours, maybe around 3 to 4 hours yesterday, since I started this episode. I think it's also 5, I mean around 5, because after I did some time to do the contraptions, I think I did an hour for the walls, and I continued it earlier for more than an hour and a half, I guess. So these walls took me around two and a half hours to build. Oh my god, that's a lot of time, right? But anyways, I think it's worth it. So the only oops, I thought he was like mad though. But anyway, so the next thing that we need to build, of course, the roof part, and as well as later on the most tedious part and the most boring part is going to be the flooring. But anyways, we have to do it, right? And finally, we have done most of the structures for this building, including this roof, of course. Well, somehow I just want to make this much simpler, because we have already done a lot for this build, for this farm. So I guess it's already enough. Well, this is how it looks like from the outside. So pretty much, yes, well, it didn't really change much compared, what I have showed you earlier. So basically, yes, so these guys, of course, these are problems, right? But somehow these are not really that hard to kill compared to the gas. I mean, the gas are really damaging. I mean, they do damage from our build, so that's why I really hate them. But these guys are somehow cute, right? Well, yeah, let me finish up these guys first. At least we can also do some mending, I mean repairing our tools from time to time. Especially I haven't done repairing yet, starting since yesterday. So well, just a little break from building. Just give me some time to kill these folks though. But anyway, so last one, this one, last one, and we're done killing those guys. But anyways, that took a little time though. So yeah, so well, we also need to slabify all of the areas around, because to prevent the mobs from spawning outside this farm. And of course, the last and the most boring thing that we have to do is of course the spawning platform. Of course, we are going to use nether bricks for the floors or for the spawning platform, and we are going to do this 5 times. Well, considering it's just mostly placing blocks, but anyways, I have to do it, right? But anyways, I'll be back. So just to show you guys that these weird skeletons are spawning here, well, here you go. So basically I already have done the top floor. Well, we have some other mobs on the other side right over there. So yes, so basically, yeah, we just need to remove this furnace just to get in if we want to do manual killing of these guys, but we don't need to do that, right? Basically, I'm already on this level, but of course I also need to grab more nether bricks, and let's just finish this. And placing off the last couple of blocks for this flooring, or especially for this build. Yes, this took me a lot of time to, this really take me time to finish this build. It's like 2 days or so. But anyways, at least we're done. And so now it's time to do some testing. As you can hear, there are some wither skellies on the spawning platforms. Basically, we got 5 levels of these spawning platforms, so pretty much it's gonna be sufficient enough for us to gather more mobs. But except for that, we still need to do some slabifications of the outer part of this, this farm, so at least we can prevent other mobs from spawning there. Especially that, of course, we have to consider, or we have to concentrate these mob spawning. In our spawn platform. So well, it will be more efficient once we already have finished, slabifying the surrounding area. So basically, there it goes. So we can have some peak, although there's no mobs there. So let's check if there are some mobs right over here. So as you can see, these pigmen were being pushed by those flying machines going here. So let's wait for them to be dropped in our killing chamber, of course, here in the ground floor. And yeah, this staircase though. But anyway, so let's check this out. So there you go, and all of the mobs are here. So we got 2 skellies. It's not that much though, but for the sake of this testing, I'll just show you guys on how we are going to do this. So basically, let's turn on the piston. So as you can see, these wither skellies are not being affected by those suffocation systems. So yes, well, that's pretty noisy though. So now it's time to kill these wither skellies using our sword. So well, I hope we can get some wither skelly skulls though. Some wither skulls. So let's check it out, and still none. Still no wither skelly though. But anyways, of course, I'm going to do that off cam. Especially that it may take time for us to gather at least 3, right? So basically, building is done, this farm is done. So the last thing that we need to do, well, I'm going to do that off cam. Of course, the slabification is the most boring part for this build. So let's kill these guys before we end this episode. One shot. Well, yeah. So well, this looks pretty impressive, right? It's a lot of hard work, to be honest, for this build, especially patience. Of course, we have done a lot of redundant stuff. So, well, so this is done. I'm really happy of what we have accomplished so far for this episode. And of course, this blaze farm, we are going to cancel this. We are just instead going to build this for the taskcraft. Of course, we need more projects for that series, of course. Well, I guess we're done. So that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, please leave a like, and make sure to subscribe. This has been mikeyperion, and I'll see you guys next time.